Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Let's jump right in today because we are looking at a truly fascinating piece of storytelling. We're unpacking an animated short called The Greatest Gift, put out by RSSB. Now, at first glance, it's this beautifully crafted story about a village, a gloomy prison, and just the incredible capacity for human kindness. But as we start to peel back the layers, we're going to uncover a deeply profound spiritual allegory. It literally asks us to question the nature of our own comfort, our personal freedom, and what it actually means to be truly liberated. So let's break this down step by step and decode those metaphors hiding right in plain sight. Right off the bat, I want you to hold on to this one really provocative question. What if your comfortable life was actually a cage? Seriously, think about it. We spend so much of our time striving for better food, nicer clothes, a warmer, cozier house. But what happens if you have all of those worldly comforts, but you fundamentally lack the ability to walk out your own front door? To really grasp how the source material tackles this concept, we need to dive straight into the literal, very cold reality where this story begins.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. The Gloomy Village Prison. A harsh winter reality. The story drops us right into this impossibly tall, unwelcoming stone prison, where the inmates, with their gray faces, are just trapped in this brutal, freezing tempest of icy hail. It's a really bleak starting point.
But then, the whole atmosphere shifts. Section 2. The Illusion of Comfort. Acts of Kindness in the Cold. And it all kicks off when one passing villager suddenly notices the prisoner's deep weariness and pain.
It's amazing how one simple spark of empathy sets off this entire chain reaction. So, chronologically, first, in the dead of this harsh winter, a villager runs home, grabs his largest pots, and brews gallons of steaming hot tea. The text gets really specific here. It's infused with warming cinnamon and fragrant cardamom. You can almost smell it, right? He brings it over, the guards let it through, and the inmates get this momentary, soothing relief from the biting cold. Then, some time passes. The village baker is walking by. She sees the dull, miserable food the prisoners are forced to eat, so she spends all night baking her absolute best recipes. We're talking golden loaves of bread, buttery pastries, rich pies. The guards are so moved, they let the feast inside. Another few days go by, and the local tailor spots their tattered, wind-blown clothes. He meticulously crafts brand new shirts and pants for every single person. When they put them on, the story tells us their eyes literally lit up with pride. The whole village just rallies together.
I really love this quote from the village baker. No one should eat without a bit of joy. It just completely hits the nail on the head regarding the genuine, kind-hearted nature of these villagers. They weren't after some kind of reward. They just recognized suffering and wanted to inject a little bit of joy into a really dark place. And, it worked. For a little while anyway. It brought undeniable temporary relief to their bellies and warmed their freezing hearts.
But here is where the narrative forces us to look a bit deeper. Section 3. The yearning for freedom, the limits of kindness. Because, as we're about to see, even with spreading kindness, a deep sadness remained. Comfort and freedom are absolutely not the same thing.
The source brilliantly contrasts these two realities. Look at the worldly comforts they received. The hot tea, the delicious bread, the new clothes. Those are fantastic, sure, but they were just physical, temporary bandages. What their hearts truly, fundamentally yearned for was the open sky. They wanted the unfiltered laughter of their children and the genuine warmth of their own homes. The heavy reality of the story is that no matter how kind the villagers were, or how cozy that prison cell became, the one thing the prisoners wanted above absolutely everything else was simply to be free.
And this is exactly where the energy of the story completely changes. Section 4. The Saint's Intervention. A path to the outside. A visiting saint arrives, a figure known for his deep wisdom and his ability to see the good in everyone. And he brings a totally different kind of intervention.
So, the saint's approach is incredibly structured here. He doesn't just stage a wild jailbreak. It's a process. Step 1, he starts visiting the prison every single day. He spends time with the inmates, imparting wisdom about the real purpose of life and being a good human being. Step 2, through that daily, consistent connection, the saint realizes these inmates are truly remorseful. They genuinely want to change. And finally, Step 3. Armed with the proof of their inner transformation, he goes straight to the village leaders. He points out that the villagers' initial acts of kindness sparked a desire in the inmates to be better, and his teaching solidified it. And it works. He successfully convinces the leaders to grant them a pardon, a real, structural second chance.
Then, the saint marches right up to those heavy, intimidating prison doors, takes out the key, and unlocks the gates. He tells them, "Come on out. You are free. Go back to your homes, your families, and your lives." The source text describes this amazing scene where the prisoners step out in pure disbelief. They're blinking in the bright, beautiful sunlight, smiling from ear to ear. It says they felt exactly like birds finally let out of a cage. It's just this incredible moment of total, unadulterated liberation.
Now that brings the literal story to a close, but the source material uses this as a very precise theological framework. Section 5. Decoding the spiritual metaphor beyond the prison walls. Let's shift gears and look at the deeper meaning. The source directly maps the literal elements of the story right over to their spiritual counterparts. First off, that gloomy prison itself, that represents the trap of this creation, or the physical world we all live in. Next, the villagers' gifts, the cinnamon tea, the fresh bread, the clothes, those represent worldly comforts and the temporary joys we accumulate. Things that make our cell nicer but don't actually get us out. Then the saint represents the true master, a spiritual guide who has the wisdom to see way beyond the physical realm. And finally, the actual unlocking of the gates represents ultimate spiritual liberation, the act of escaping the cycle of this creation entirely and realizing God.
Which brings us to our final takeaway. Section 6. The key to ultimate liberation, the core message. Ultimately, nice clothes and comfortable homes still leave us trapped. A comfortable cage is still just a cage.
The source makes this absolutely crucial point. Escaping the prison of creation isn't something we can just pull off on our own, and it's definitely not something we can buy by piling up more worldly comforts. True and lasting liberation requires a key, and according to the text, that key is turning to the teachings of a true master. It's by actively applying those spiritual teachings in our daily lives that we can truly unlock the door, liberate ourselves, and realize God within. It's a fascinating allegory, isn't it? Taking this simple, sweet story of village kindness and revealing this profound spiritual framework underneath. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, provocative question to think about. If worldly comforts, the nice house, the amazing food, the cozy clothes, are literally just the furnishings of a comfortable cage, what is your key to true liberation? Think about what truly sets you free. Thanks so much for exploring this incredible story with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.